was a special game, but one step too far for Aston Villa. Unai Emery could not enjoy his own remontada, his own comeback, despite his players' best efforts. They fought and fought from 5-1 down on aggregate and got within one, but for that man Donnarumma, Gary Breen.
Massive moments. And you have to say PSG have been so impressive in this Champions League campaign, but they had to work right to the end. And these Villa fans are rightly giving their team praise because that is an incredible turnaround.
The dream to lift the trophy they won in 1982 is over. PSG still harbour hopes to win it for the first time. They are into the semi-finals. Goals from Hakimi and Mendes put Luis Enrique's side ahead. But Tielemans, McGinn and Konza gave Villa more than hope. But that one goal was beyond them in the end, and they are out in the quarter-finals. PSG will play either Real Madrid or Arsenal in the final four. What a game! Aston Villa 3, PSG 2, 4-5 on aggregate.
This match was brought to you by Pepsi Max, UEFA Champions League official sponsor.
Well, 8 years after Unai Emery's PSG gave away a 4-goal lead against Luis Enrique's Barcelona in the Champions League, Luis Enrique almost returns the favour as PSG manager against Unai Emery's Aston Villa. What an extraordinary night, Shay, and a much more competitive second half than we had any right to expect at half-time.
Yeah, half-time we thought it was game over, but I'm telling you what a second half we had there. Everyone's puffing the cheeks, even Prince William in the crowd. The fans got done their part as well. The Villa fans were brilliant as well. I mean, it's just a shame that we didn't go to extra time. It really was. I mean, Pacho had one off the line from Maatsen right at the death as well.
Donnarumma, a lot of saves.
Donnarumma as well. I mean, I gave him a bit of stick before the game, saying that I think it might be a bit of a weak link, but he's proved me wrong tonight, and some brilliant saves. But he made some brilliant saves because Aston Villa played so well. Second half, they were a totally different team. They really were. I just feel from that, Unai Emery will probably talk after how proud he is of his team and stuff. They give PSG a big scare, a really big scare, in fact, and on another night they definitely would have got back level for extra time. But it's again, it's a great advert for the Champions League.
Martin, you give top marks to Villa for effort?
Oh, absolutely. McGinn starting it off for that run, that great goal. Got a bit of a deflection, but even so, it was the driving force going into it. And suddenly Villa Park came alive, absolutely came alive. They get another goal back as well to Konza's miss, the whip bin ball. Konza, that is a big miss because that puts the game level then, and with about 20 minutes to go, it could be anything at all. They even had a chance towards the end. It's a magnificent effort by Aston Villa, really magnificent effort. They had to take a couple of gambles in the last half hour of the game, of course, but it doesn't really matter. We said at half-time, don't die wondering, and it was a brilliant effort by them.
Yuri Tielemans showing his love to probably some friends and family he's picking out there. Luis Enrique is a happy man, but you would say a relieved man, Ken. Is your faith in this Paris Saint-Germain side maybe a little bit wobbly after tonight?
And not so much. I think they just proved that they're human. The biggest compliment they could play Aston Villa this evening is they made this team look very ordinary for the majority, for a big spell of that second half, and that's not an easy thing to do because this is an exceptionally talented PSG team. Just felt there was a period in that second half, that 15-20 minute period where they got the 2 goals, they were in the ascendancy, they were up, the crowd were up, and that PSG team really wobbled. And there was a couple of key opportunities at 3-2, wasn't there? There was the chance for Rashford, the header from Tielemans, and in particular that headed opportunity for Konza, which I feel he had to score from. I think that was their opportunity there to take it to maybe to extra time, and who knows what would have happened. They kind of weathered the storm, PSG. They kind of found their composure, had a couple of chances between them in the end of the game, could have extended their league. But just by the nature of the game, Villa never gave up. Great character, and Maatsen, wonderful technique, practically the last kick of the game. Almost certain goal scored by probably PSG's best player on the night, Pacho at centre half. But huge credit to the Aston Villa team. Showed huge character, collective spirit, some outstanding individual moments throughout the game. Huffed and puffed and gave everything. Spoke before the game about them going out with their shields this evening. That's exactly what they did.
I thought these frailties were supposed to be gone from this Aston Villa team, lads. What's the story there? Or from this Paris Saint-Germain team, I should say, Martin. The frailties, they seem to be back a little bit tonight in the second half.
Well, you know, sometimes when you analyse it, when we've gone into these games here now thinking that this is an invincible side, they are far from it. Really far from it. They're a very good side. There's no question about it. We've been praising them with their energy. They were energy-less in that second half. They were trailing. John McGinn has gone 40, 50 yards with the ball without anybody getting remotely close to him. But it was, when you consider it, if you look, and it seems as if we're almost contradicting ourselves, but midfield players, Ruiz, Kenny said to me before the game he wasn't wildly sure about him, and I think he's right. He's been a fine footballer, but he's not going to change. He's not going to change your lifestyle in many aspects. The other two little Vitinha, he's a lovely little footballer. He's a flicker. He flicks the ball here and there, and he does these particular things. And the other lad,
I'm glad you got your words right. There's a little flicker in midfield.
Well done. And the other little midfield player, and they're fine. They do have energy. We saw this in past games that they've played, but they were energy less today. And Marquinhos, to me, I think he's the most overrated centre back in European football.
Oh, really?
I do honestly think it. I do not. He's got the big lad alongside him here. I think he is really overrated. He's looking in all the time. When the ball has been whipped in, I'm expecting him, if I'm his manager, I'm expecting him to be dominating in there. Now, he's not really got the size, but I still want him to dominate. He must be a very decent captain in terms of giving language out and stuff like this.
Well, he's led them to 10 league titles, hasn't he?
Pardon?
He's led them to 10 league titles, Marquinhos. Or certainly he's been involved in 10, not all of them as captain.
Well, Paris Saint-Germain, with the respect, they're going to win the league. Yeah. Seriously, unless
I think you have to give Aston Villa a huge amount of credit for that in terms of the energy in which they played. PSG won't be used to that in terms of the intensity that Aston Villa threw at them in that period. 20 minutes of the second half, it was like real kind of British style. That's not talking it down from Aston Villa. There was real quality there as well, don't get me wrong, but it didn't overcomplicate the game. Increase the energy levels. You mentioned John McGinn. It was like the heartbeat of it. He was driving them forward. There's a real kind of physicality menace to how Aston Villa played. I think they found that really rocked PSG. When the tempo dropped a little after that, Villa tried to get a breather in. The intensity dropped down. They managed to get their passing game going again and kind of play their way into the game. But that period for 15, 20 minutes, Villa were absolutely ran all over them. And you're right, they couldn't deal with it.
They couldn't deal with it. But the whole point about this is that they are a very fine side. There's no question about it. They have really good footballers playing, even despite the fact that I'm saying about he's a flicker of the ball. He is actually a fine footballer, and they've had really great moments in the latter stages of this competition. But they're not invincible. That's the whole point. I suppose you could say that about any side at all, but they are not invincible. And when they were really put under a lot of pressure, they were wilting. They were definitely wilting there for a while. They have the capabilities of scoring on the break, and I know that Martinez has made a couple of decent saves, but that's because Villa were pressing forward to try and get that equalising goal.